Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are good today. Now I've got a very special guest, and it has been a little while since we've spoken about Arsenal, about United. We've done previews before, so it's really good to have you back. But first of all, before we go into talking about the game coming up, do you want to tell people a bit about yourself and where they can find you on YouTube?
Sure, why not? For those who didn't see our the past, we've had a few streams together. It's always a pleasure to be here. So, thanks for having me. I'm Dave. I'm the host of Premier League Primetime. You can find us at our channel, which should be hopefully it works in the title. But if not, Premier League Primetime on YouTube and on Instagram at PO Primetime. So yeah, go check us out there. And yeah, big up for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's good to have you back on. I know it's been a little while since we've
Mhm.
spoken a bit about football, but good to see you. Big up to chat and big up to PFC TV, big up Sofa. All good, thank you. Hope all of you are well. Feel free to ask us any questions, obviously, about the game, about the season coming up, and we'll go through that. But first of all, I want to just speak a bit about United's season because obviously, thank you for beating Man City, by the way. That helped us out
Mm.
a little bit. But you've obviously, Anrin's gone. You've got someone, you've got some temporary people that are going to take over.
Mhm.
But how do you feel about your season? Because if you look at the table, for me,
Mhm.
it seems not too bad considering last season you did really struggle.
Mhm. No, and what I was going to say was on the last time that we streamed before last night before our show today, uh, like like just for fun, I just wanted to see how different it was, and the way he was talking about certain players, and especially the manager. And fast forward to now, and it's funny to see like how like differently I view everything now. But as yeah, the season's been nothing more of it's not been the best of seasons. I think the less said about 2025, the better. Um, you're finishing 15th, losing to yeah. So I apologize. You can blame the manager for losing to Tottenham in the Europa League final. Um, the way certain players have been treated, I remember that was something that I had mentioned with Ten Hag. And some of the last manager found a way to be worse, which I didn't think was possible. I'm pretty sure said the last time, just don't be worse than Ten Hag. And yeah, the last manager, I don't like saying his name, found a way to be worse, which is quite astonishing. But I feel like now for the rest of the season, you know what? It can only go upwards, considering the fact how low we were uh, in confidence, given a multitude of different factors. But I'm sure we'll get into those later on. But um, things are looking up, even though it's only been one match. Just it's the feel good factor brought back, but also it was a phenomenal tactical masterclass by Carrick as well in the Manchester derby. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like we'll talk about the game in a little bit, but it feels like for me, it's like not the best time to play you guys because the team do seem like they've got this sort of energy. They just seem a lot more happier
Hmm.
on the pitch, and I think it's
Interim
always
manager Man United
yeah,
is.
the manager bounce always happens. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
with Amarin, I think the problem that you guys were having is that you were winning. We'd win a game, you'd lose a game, you'd draw a game, and there wasn't really any consistency there. And I think that's a big issue. Like you need to go on a good run and build on something. Like you said, maybe it will be better now that you've got someone who is coming in temporary. Obviously, as a permanent thing, is there any managers out there that you would think would be the right guy to take United? Maybe. I mean, you're at the stage where you probably do want to aim for top four and win trophies. And who would you say could come in and do that for you guys?
Are you saying like permanent manager, like in the summer,
Yeah.
like starting from the summer? Oh, a lot of people have asked me this, and people ask me, "Oh, would you keep Carrick? Would you keep Carrick?" I'll say this, right? I think Michael Carrick is, I think for me, he's got everything when it takes to be a brilliant coach. I mean, we've seen it at Middlesbrough for anybody, maybe yourself. If anybody rates Morgan Rogers, if you've not seen the interview with Jamie Redknapp, have a good watch. And he talks about Michael Carrick and how influential and important he was in his development. He was the one that brought through and really, really developed Rogers' game to where he was getting attention from teams like Aston Villa, who were flying high this season. And for me, when it was the whole, obviously when it was the whole interim conversation and it came down between him and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's a legend. But knowing how things ended and knowing the limitations that we did see from him, it for me, I was just very, very, very uncomfortable with it, and knowing that our fan base tends to think very emotionally rather than logically. And I was very worried if that appointment happened, it would be another Ollie's at the wheel, give him the job thing. But for managers in the summer, there are a couple names for me. Obviously, you have your Thomas Tuchel's and if I know reports are saying that it was that there was nothing in Luis Enrique wanting to leave, but if someone's of that caliber of a coach, he's going to walk in the summer. I mean, it's an absolute must we get Champions League football, because that will immediately make us a more attractive proposition. Am I saying that we'll get him? I think we're pretty far down the pecking order for a manager of that quality. But for me, one manager that's incredibly intriguing, even though he, in a way he's like Conte, where if he doesn't get what he needs, it bursts into flames. For me, De Zerbi. That football that De Zerbi plays is incredible. He's got the personality, he's got the character to deal with big personalities, big characters. You've seen the praise from Pep, saying that he's like one of his inspirations, and models the way that who sees the game similar to him. So for me, as of right now, for me, De Zerbi, think realistically. For me, De Zerbi, Tuchel maybe, but the football that Tuchel plays, I'm not trying to go back. I'm not trying to go back to that football, even though it was one game. But if this is the football that I see for the vast majority of the rest of the season, we get Champions League football. I don't want to go anything. I don't want to revert to anything more negative than that. So, for me, De Zerbi as of right now, but I mean, who knows? There will be lots of managers available in the summer, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. To be fair, someone said that as well in the comments, and I think he would be a good manager. Obviously, big up to Harry, who says big up to Premier League primetime, and Sophie, big up to yourself.
Yep.
And yeah, I think it's tough as well, because I think you have to find someone that is going to be the right fit for the club, and I think it's hard really, because you see a lot of clubs don't always give the managers the right time, and I think in all fairness with United, you've not had the best sort of managers that have come in. They've made quite a lot of mistakes, haven't they?
No, especially the last one, which again, like I was saying earlier, watching back the last stream you were on about the manager and how excited I was, and fast forward a year later,
it's crazy how much it can change.
He completely defied what I thought was possible, breaking more or less every single record, on the not so great side. I mean, the best thing he probably did do was on the football pitch. He won 3 games in a row, and everyone was super excited about it. Like that's how low we dropped to. That the fan base was championing winning 3 games in a row. Yeah, it's not been great, but I'm glad he's gone. And hopefully this interim out with Carrick will continue.
Yeah, it is sad, isn't it? Like, you're happy when you win a few games, but it is hard because I think you have fallen quite low. I mean, we fell quite low years ago, and thankfully we're in the place where we should be. But I think, I think it's a shame. It's like when you go to United, I mean, when Arsenal play United, I can never go into it saying we're going to win this easily. On paper, maybe we should win, but I think it's going to be a really difficult game. I mean, I do worry for Arsenal actually going into this game because you've had a good win against Man City. You probably could have scored more against them, and it was a really comfortable win. And for Arsenal, we couldn't beat Nottingham Forest. We've got a few issues in our attack, I would say. And how do you feel about facing Arsenal? Because we're still, I think we're 7 points clear. You know, we're not in a bad position at all. But we don't really want to be closing that gap, especially at the weekend. So how are you feeling about playing Arsenal?
If I'm being completely honest, and obviously to cater to what we call, the top reds, all the top reds out there. I mean, I'd be lying to say that that I don't feel any sort of confidence, or maybe less confidence, as if Amarim was in charge, I'd have no confidence, because the football is so negative. We probably set up the most negative way possible. But Man United on an interim manager, especially if there's a new manager bounce, yeah, it's definitely not a great time to play us. As for Arsenal, they've been the best in the league this season. I don't think that's a question. As much as I dislike your football club, you'd be disingenuous to say that your side hasn't been the best side in the league this season. I'd say, especially in these last few games, I definitely, from a neutral point of view, I've been, not too surprised, but definitely disappointed. Because Arsenal has had the chance to more or less, kill off Manchester City's hopes in getting back into this title race. They've dropped points for the past few games now, and Arsenal have drawn all these games, which I think after the Manchester derby, Arteta would be looking at that and and would be sending a rocket to these players, telling them, look, Man City just lost again. We need to go and get 3 points. We need to go extend the gap to what would have been 9 points. 9 points clear of City at the top if he had won. But
Yeah.
which yeah, you haven't done. So I mean, we'll see what happens until the end of the season. But with your question, Arsenal's attack, Saka's dropped off, for sure, and I think that's obviously the new contract, the new 5-year deal. Maybe could that have played a part in it? I wouldn't say it did. I don't think it's like an Aubameyang or a Rashford or even a Mo Salah to a certain extent. Because I think he's very different from all of those 3 players, and what happened with all 3 of those players as well. So I don't know. I'm definitely feeling more upbeat going into the match. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, I don't blame you really, because I think, like you said, after that win, you probably do feel in a good place. And I think if it's an Arsenal fan, I think if Ruben Amorim was still there, I'd probably feel more confident. It's difficult, isn't it? You don't know what to expect from Arsenal. Sometimes we can play quite boring football. I think we have been criticised for that, and I think it doesn't matter really. If we get the win, we get the win. But we've played sometimes really good, so it's so difficult. I don't know what to expect from Arsenal. But I think you made a good point about Saka. It's tough because he's not doing bad in games. Like, he's doing what he should be doing, but he's not scoring, and that is a bit of a worry, because if you look at Saka maybe a season or 2 ago, he was that guy that would pretty much score in most of the games where we need him
Even
to
last
be.
season as well,
Yeah.
even if he didn't score, you knew he made an impact. But when you sign a certain striker, I predicted that I think Bukayo Saka is going to struggle with output, and I think them two, Saka and I assume we'll probably talk about Gyökeres later on, because both of our big new striker signings haven't been off to the best starts.
Yeah.
But I've always thought that them two, it would definitely take some time to click, to gel, but definitely wouldn't happen straight away. But bar that, I mean, you signed Madueke, which you don't need a top left winger, and I remember saying like if you had signed like a layout, I'd be like, okay, wow, they mean business. But for the left wing to go and sign Madueke, I was just, he's not a bad player, but I'm just thinking Arsenal, are trying to win the league next season, and Noni Madueke was who they brought in to reinforce the attack. I don't know. He's had an all right season so far. It's not like he's had a bad season, but I don't know. It didn't raise any eyebrows, raise any heels for me. So
Yeah, it's difficult as well because if Saka can't play or if we need to rest Saka, you sort of want someone to take it to the next level or to score. And it's difficult because Madueke a lot of the time is doing great. He's doing all the right things, but again, he's just not scoring.
no,
But he's done a lot better than what I expected because I wasn't really big on the signing because I thought to myself, if Saka
I don't
needs a
blame you.
break, who can come in and who's gonna, be quite clinical? Because we do struggle with being clinical, and I do think to myself, who can come in and do that? I think he's done. I think he's done fairly decent, but if you look at the stats and you look at the goals, it doesn't look too good. So I do think Madueke does need to get on the score sheet a little bit more. I think the left hand side for us, it's a bit of a weird one. I love Trossard. I'm happy with Trossard, but then you've got Martinelli, and he's not really a starter for me either. Arteta does start him sometimes, but yeah, I think Martinelli will be off in the summer anyway. I don't think he's gonna be here for the big part of our future. So yeah, the striker position as well, as you mentioned. We've obviously got Havertz coming back, and Havertz hasn't played too much. Obviously Jesus did really good, obviously, in the Champions League the other night. But Gyökeres has been the starter, and I'm not surprised he did well yesterday because I think with the sort of team Inter are, I think it really helped us going forwards. But as well, you've had a bit of issues as well. Sesko and Gyökeres. I did so many videos on them in the summer because I did not know who Arsenal would end up getting, and you made a
I
good
thought it was going to
point
be the other
that.
way around.
Yeah, I did as well actually at one point.
Everyone expected to be the other way around, but between the two, I'd probably say I'd say the I think we've got the better of the two strikers, but obviously Sesko's very young. He's 20 years old. I think a big problem for him, a lot of people were already comparing him to Rasmus Højlund, and respectfully to Napoli and to Rasmus Højlund, I just have no care for how many goals he scores at Napoli. What I saw from Rasmus Højlund up front was just again like Ruben Amorim just completely. I thought it was genuinely impossible to find a player that lacked the footballing IQ and the intelligence, and even the nous to find the back of the net. And that Sesko's got, he's got the fundamentals are there for him. But for me, the problem is that the guy's brilliant in the air. Like that's his biggest strength, aerial duels. But the fullbacks are at the time wingbacks, I should say, because Ruben Amorim, loves his five at the back. They wouldn't put crosses in the box. He played inverted wingbacks. I've never seen before this manager any team, even with the back five. Like I can't ever remember Arteta, because when he first came in, he was going with five at the back, three at the back. I can't ever remember him playing inverted wingbacks, wingbacks that will cut inside. So obviously they're not going to cross the ball, and you're taking away Sesko's biggest strength. So we'll see what happens, but I definitely think he's got his benefit of the doubt. I'm sure Gyökeres says as well, because it's clear that Arteta, did he want him? I don't know. Considering that the way the Arsenal have been playing, and it's not really changed. So, we'll see what happens with them too. What do you think?
Yeah, it's so early, isn't it? Like at the moment, I think at the moment, both of them aren't particularly doing you're not blowing the league away. Basically, they're
No,
doing
they're
okay.
not.
I mean, Sesko's been getting your goals. Gyökeres
Mhm,
slowly now is sort of
mhm.
getting the goals up a
Oh
bit.
yeah.
I mean, it's difficult with some of the goals, and
Mhm,
I mean, the one yesterday was absolutely great. I know we got a bit lucky, but I think Gyökeres is getting his confidence up. I have been worried. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been worried this season because, if I am being honest, games like Liverpool where you want to really make the most of that and you want to really win, and I don't think he's shown up. I don't think players. I think it's a mixture of everything. Like, I do think he is responsible for the position he puts himself in. He could get in better positions and help himself. But then you also see players like Saka not passing to him when he could pass to him. So I do think that it's probably a mixture of that as well. But I think, as you said, only in time we'll know how they'll do. We'll only know how both of them. I'm not too, like I said, it's so hard to know how they're going to do at the
mhm,
moment. But it's not amazing right now. I don't think for both clubs. I just want to say big up to Twist. Finding all these new channels and my man PFC, all of them. Big up to yourself. I just want to read through your comments first.
mhm,
Is telling and showing me why Arteta wanted Sesko over Gyökeres, taking goals out of the equation. I see Sesko hold up movement in the box. It's really Arteta plays through the middle, which is Gyökeres' strength being direct. I do
mhm.
think that's a great point because, like, when I've seen United play with Sesko, I think he does, even if he's not scoring, he has good hold up play, his movement, he's doing good things, and
Mhm.
there's been times of Gyökeres where you wouldn't really know he's playing. So I think that's a really good point as well.
No, definitely. And the strikers that makes perfect sense as to why Arteta would want Šeško over Gyökeres. I mean, for the amount of set pieces that you have been scoring, I mean, to have him in the box, I mean, imagine the goals that he would score with the amount of set pieces that you lot score from, anyways. Um, and with Gyökeres, I just don't see a lot of the times just basic fundamentals. Like, sometimes I'm thinking to myself, okay, if you're not getting the ball, what do you offer? Like, what's your first touch like? Can you hold up the ball? Can you link play? And that's just not the kind of striker he is. It's mostly reliant on pace and power and making runs in behind, which is not at all what Arteta and his style of play is like. So it was never going to suit him. But again, obviously the change in manager for us, and looking at who maybe will come, maybe will not be pointed to the helm in the summer, could very well change things. But I was saying for a long time, more pretty much any manager is going to have a better style of play or system, as I've heard Ruben Amorim say so many times in his press conferences. They will have a better system than him. I was even saying Sean Dyche has a better system than Ruben Amorim, and I'm not saying
Yeah,
I
you
want
want
Sean Dyche in
yeah.
my club. I'm not. But Sean Dyche's football it's more competent. It makes more sense than Ruben Amorim's. Like, and Šeško would thrive better under Sean Dyche than under Ruben Amorim. Sometimes manager that just knows how to get the best out of the players that you got is a lot of times all you need. But especially with them too, and I'm sure with several of our other signings or players that I'm sure we'll get more into on. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think it's difficult because I think if you have a good manager, they can definitely help you get the best out of the players that you bring in. So yeah, I do definitely think it's that, and I think we'll have to do a video at the end of the season talking about how it's gone because things could
Yeah, we
change.
will. We've
Obviously,
seen that.
yeah. I mean, it's good to see Gyökeres get a goal, not just in the Premier League. I mean, he got one against Chelsea, he got
Mhm.
one in the Champions League. So I'm hoping that will help. I just want to read out this
Chelsea are
comment here.
something else right now. Chelsea
Yeah,
is something else.
I know. It's funny to watch them. Honestly, I'm enjoying it. Amorim's
Me
system is
too.
never the issue. his system is great. He's a good manager. Him coming to us though was never going to work. Our players don't suit that style. What do you think about that?
Okay. No, leave that comment up. Look, it's not the
Yeah,
first I've seen these kinds of things. Amram's system was never the issue. In 3 days, Michael Carrick and Steve Holland, showed and played a more competent style of football, and the team looked better. With 3 days, no, not 3 games, 3 days. In 3 days' time, they have done. Carrick and Steve Holland literally have done with £0, by the way, what Ruben Amorim has not been able to do in 14 months, given £250 million to spend, or £200 million, a brand new attack, which is, not only just perform and win games, but, also play on the front foot. I mean, that performance against Man City, and look, we've won against Manchester City with other managers. We've won under Jose, we've won under LVG. The amount of the Ollie days, sit back, counterattack, Dan James up front. So we've won matches against Man City, Ten Hag as well, even under Amorim. But this just felt completely different. Like, he wasn't just sitting back. You were, in a way, pinning Man City back. And I know the number crunchers and all those who love looking at the stats and judging only off stats will say, it wasn't tactical masterclass. They only scored 2 goals, or Man City had more possession. For me, possession is meaningless if there's no intent at the end of it, really. And I'm not saying Carrick is the greatest manager on earth. I'm not, but he's just a good, competent coach, and it's just a good, competent coach can get the best out of can produce that kind of result and performance against a team like Man City. I think for me that shows that's a really, really damning indictment on Ruben Amorim and how poor of a coach and manager he is. I mean, to be that stubborn, to go, for me, the Europa League final, which was a must win to salvage anything financially, even giving us something to smile at the end of the season. You threw away a European Cup final and played Kobbie Mainoo for what? And we'll probably talk about Kobbie later. What, you give him injury time minutes, ultimately 5 defenders on the pitch because you didn't want to stray away from your system. And you could see the system was not helping anyone. I mean, who got the best? Who's looking good in that system? Luke Shaw, Mason Mount. Are those the players you're trying to platform? Luke Shaw, Mason Mount. Is that the priority? I don't know. Just, yeah. And you are right. You never, had the players to play his way. So I look at Omar Barada as well, which was, why on earth would you pick him? And he's not a footballing person, and that was very obvious with the manager he selected. So Wilcox needs to be the one to choose the next manager. And also, people like him, some people don't, but the footballing people need to be the ones to pick the next manager. It cannot be the CEO.
Yeah, I mean I remember that Europa League final. That was pretty bad. I think in that as well. Both teams were awful. I can't say Spurs were great either. I think one team
after losing to them, after losing to them 3 times already that season. Yeah, I'm not forgetting about that as well. And I'm not normally someone who's most normally someone that will cry very often, but that Europa League final, I'd be blatantly lying to say I wasn't in tears after that, given the season that we've had. That Europa League final was just it was so that broke me last season. Honestly,
it is difficult.
It was horrible.
I think that was the thing you needed really to get you through that bad season, because I mean, I think to win Europa League, I think that is pretty big. So I feel like that would have really, I think that would have done you a lot of good, and it's a shame that didn't work out.
Financially too.
Yeah, exactly. The amount of money you probably could have got and could have helped you as well. It is quite annoying. I just want to read this, and then we'll obviously speak a little bit about the game coming up. I was
Okay.
Amran out, but I do believe if he went to a better team that suits his style, he would do wonders. Never wanted him in the first place. Believe we fully set him up to fail, knowing what we know about our players and the team. Fair enough to that. So obviously, like I said, going back to the game at the weekend, Arsenal, thankfully, we're at home. We do have quite a good record at home.
Mhm.
I'm happy our game at Old Trafford is sort of done now because
Oh yeah, I was not.
we
I was
don't have
so
the best
annoyed.
record.
I was so annoyed, and this is another reason why I wanted Ruben Amorim gone, because I saw that performance and I thought, okay, wow, you know what, I was annoyed we lost the game because we shouldn't have lost that game, because obviously one set piece, and then just more or less pinned you back for the rest of the game. And Amorim left five. What does Amorim do? He loves a center back for center back substitution when we need a goal. That's his favorite. And at least I don't have to see Harry Maguire up front again. I don't have to see that. Shout out to Harry Maguire though. Shout out Maguire every time. But yeah, just that. I mean, but that was what we would do. That's what that manager would do, because it worked once in a game, in that Lyon game, which was utter madness. There's not going to be any more of those substitutions, hopefully. So I'm sure just the different mindset and mentality will definitely make a difference this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how do you kind of see yourself approaching, like United approaching this game? Because for us, as you mentioned, we do like our set pieces and defensively. I'm just still, for some reason, Calafiori has been out for a while, and I think he's one of our important defenders. We've obviously got a good defense anyway. We've, most of the players are pretty much available for Arsenal, so. Obviously, I expect us to defend the best as we can, and I think it'll be different to that game because we did park the bus and it wasn't our best performance. But obviously, we're in at Old Trafford. I'd take it. But this game I expect to be a little different, and it's always a real tough game against United because like I said, even if we're doing better in the league, it wouldn't surprise me if you guys got something out of the game, considering how good you guys have done lately.
No, definitely. For me, I think this game will be very similar to maybe not the exact same, because also Man City's strengths are a little bit different, and we're not going to be up against a back four of what Rico Lewis and and Ake, who's on his final legs, Max Lane, and even Nico Riley. We're not going to be playing against that back four. We're going to be playing against, likely. I think we didn't you rest. I'm pretty sure Arteta rested players. I know Gabriel didn't play. Did Saliba play?
Yeah, I think Saliba plays. I think we rested Declan Rice a little
Mhm.
bit, so
Okay,
yeah.
Now Arteta did rest players in that game, so obviously not it's going to be for the match this week, and then Arsenal. Yeah, they've got one of it's unquestionable they got the best defense in the league, and of course surprise. I mean, it should be a surprise that I have a good amount of mates that can't stand Arsenal Football Club. I mean, it shouldn't be a shock as to why that might be, but I'd be blatantly lying to say that Arsenal don't have the best defense in the league, because they do. They absolutely do. They have, one of the best defenses in Europe as well, if not the best, one of which I think they have one of the best defenses in Europe. So obviously that's going to be a challenge for us. I mean, not having. I mean, how many goals have you conceded?
We've conceded
Right
a
now.
lot more lately, I'd say. We were on that phase where we didn't concede, and then I think it's because I think when we have that back four of Calafiori, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Raya, we usually do much better at keeping clean sheets. But I think their left hand side probably could be a little bit of a weakness, I'd say, in this game because I'm not too sure. Hincapié has been playing there and he's picked up an injury. Lewis Skelly, defensively, probably is a position he struggles in, but Timber at left back as well. It just isn't particularly great. He's much better on the right. So yeah, I think we have conceded a lot more lately, to be honest.
No, yeah, I was going to say, I could very well see Arteta doing a Jurriën Timber shift at left back. That's, if he's at left back against Ahmad, I don't know. I don't know for Jurriën Timber. I like Jurriën Timber a lot. I do. I think he's one of the best right backs in the league. I mean, for me, I think only Reece James is ahead of him. For me, and there's not many right backs even in the world that are ahead of Jurriën Timber, but Reece James in the Premier League at least is the only one that I'd say is better than Timber right now. The center backs are. I don't. It's a waste of time to talk about Saliba and Gabriel at this point. That should be a given. But I agree. I think the left hand side will be a place to target. I do feel a little bit sorry for Skelly in a way, because you saw how he ended his rise and becoming international for us, but then Arteta just hasn't been playing him because Calafiori has been performing this season, rightfully so, and he's just fallen down the pecking order. I mean, we'll see what happens with Lewis Skelly, but I think he's a really good player, but it's clear he's not a left back.
Yeah. I think he would be a lot better in midfield, actually. People have, no fans have suggested that quite a few times, but I think Arteta sticks to what he probably knows will be safe or would work okay. And it's difficult with Lewis Skelly because he's still very young. So I don't think he probably knows he won't be playing all the time, but it's good he's getting a few more appearances. But I think defensively, I think we'll probably go with Timber on the left for this, and I don't blame Timber for struggling because it's not his position. He's a right back, so but at the end of the day, we don't have many options really to throw in. So
I mean, I saw Zinchenko came back.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's gone back to Ajax, but I just thought I'm not.
Yeah, went to Ajax. Yeah, you did. I heard Ajax are looking at Ugarte too. Just Ajax, you're more than welcome. I'm just saying, Ajax, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. I heard from the what was it? I think Orenstein came out yesterday and said that Ajax were apparently inquiring about Ugarte. Hopefully the club just allow all inquiries. Just allow them all. Doesn't matter what they are.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking to myself, I cannot have Zinchenko back because it just hasn't worked out. And I think you have to be ruthless at this stage. Like
you do. It's important.
We don't have many left backs right now, but I want to read this, and obviously I thought you could tell me your lineup as well because there's one here. Okay. I do apologise if I pronounce any of the name wrong. I hope we start with Lemons, Materazzi, Maguire, Butcher, Shaw, Casemiro, Mainu, Ahmed, Bruno, Dorgu, False, 9, and Bremo. So City replace Dolan and Maz. So what lineup would you go for this game for United?
I think the lineup there in the comment, that lineup worked against Man City. However, just one footballing fundamentals for any coach, any manager. Every side that you go up against is different, and Manchester City's strengths and weaknesses are, for me as of right now, very, very different from Arsenal's. You're playing against a defense who, it's not experience, it's not players on the last legs. It's arguably the best, defense in Europe. And for me I don't know if playing Mbeumo as a false 9 up front is going to be very effective. I don't know. Because if you're going to try and play any sort of long balls to Mbeumo, like, what's the point? What's the point of that? You're wasting him. You're wasting Mbeumo up there. So I think, and it was definitely a big call for Carrick to drop Šeško for the Manchester derby, but I think someone playing, I think someone like Šeško, if he would be the person to play up front, because winning the 50-50s, if we play Mbeumo up there, I'm not expecting to win any 50-50s. I'm really not. Mbeumo's not someone that I'm hoping and putting all my hopes and prayers on to win headers against Saliba and Gabriel. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing that. As for the team that I would choose, I think there's definitely the comments you made and mine share some similarities. Lamens in goal, I think, goes without question. With Mazraoui, I forgot. Someone in the comments can let me know, but is he officially available for the game this week? Is Mazraoui available? Because if he is, welcome back. Just the less I say about Dallo, the better. Just he's one like Zinchenko. You just need to be moved on. I think the less said about that guy, the better. And if he's not available, and it has to be Dallo, even though I really don't want to see Dallo play. I just don't. And he had an all right performance against Doku, but I'm just not confident about anything we deal with Dallo. I'm just not. With the center backs, I think Harry Maguire was tremendous for me, as well as Lissandro. But for me, I think in a game like this, Lissandro definitely he struggles in wide areas, and he's not the quickest, so we should say. And for someone like Gyökeres, his whole thing is running in behind, I think that might hinder him a bit. This may be a bit bold, but honestly, I think maybe you can go with Aiden Heaven, which thank you, by the way. £1 million. Thank you very much, Arsenal Football Club. Thank you. Thank you for Aiden Heaven. Honestly, like this guy, honestly, he's a gem. He's a gem. And for me, just seeing, and I know he had a poor performance against Leeds, but center backs at that age, when they not played first team football, really, they're obviously they're going to make mistakes some games, and that's normal. But to see the composure that this kid had on the ball, but just it looks like he's been playing already for about 3 or so years, active first team football. I mean, he's tremendous. So I mean, this would be crazy or mental. But I mean, if Carrick plays Lissandro, he plays Lissandro. I mean, I hope it goes well. But I mean, my pick for me would actually be Aiden Heaven, because I think just someone in the air as aerially as well. And we know how Arsenal love set pieces. And Lissandro, respectfully, there's a Lissandro Gabriel matchup on a corner. I don't know. Just that was long. Luke Shaw left back, I think, is a given. Casemiro just rolled back the years against Man City. That looked like Romer Casemiro, and that was brilliant. And again, he's another player that I, for whatever reason, constantly have to defend because as we know, word to Jamie Carragher, leave the football before it leaves you. Crazy for someone to say that. And you look at what Casemiro's won in the game. He's someone that, if you platform him correctly, he could be an incredible player for you. And it's crazy. He's still our most important midfielder. Kobbie Mainoo, I might just skip that and come back because I have a whole lot to say about Kobbie Mainoo. So I would start Kobbie Mainoo as well, but I'll go back to that. For the attacking three, I think Bruno, as goes without saying, I have my my own differences and very controversial opinions on Bruno. He's someone that's so frustrating, but for me, I can't question that performance against Manchester City. I cannot question it. I'm someone that criticizes this guy all the time because if he's not getting GNA, he's doing hoofball, and I can't stand him. And when he does that, because the number 10 is supposed to control and dictate the game. Like if Bruno's not getting output, it's just hoofball, and it drives me crazy. It annoys me so much. But he obviously will start. Ahmad on the right, I think, goes without question. I would keep Dorgu on the left hand side, or as a left winger, doubling up on Saka as well. I think tactically, I think that would be a good thing to keep. And up front, I'd go Benjamin Šeško as our best hopes to win anything. But what do you think? Before I assume we'll talk more about Kobbie in a minute.
Yeah, I think that is quite a strong lineup. I think as we said before, I think if you look at Arsenal, if you had to look at our weaknesses, I think you look at the left, as we said. I mean, on the wing we're pretty good with Trossard, but I think defensively on the left, like I think even though we're in a good place, I think there's still places where we aren't really at our best. So I feel like that's a really good lineup for me for United. I think as you mentioned with Saka, I think if I was an
Mm,
outsider, if I put myself in your shoes, I would do my best to sort of put as many bodies as I could on Saka because I think we know
mhm,
that he does put a lot of crosses in the box. He's quite dangerous. So um, I agree with you. I just want to read this quickly before we carry on, but
mhm,
I think it's a
mhm,
good point about Gyökeres about his pace because I was thinking about this. I think there
mhm,
was actually a really good chance we had, and Gyökeres had the ball, and I think his pace could be better. If I'm being honest with you, I think sometimes he can if he's in the right position, it helps. But I do think he could. I do
mhm.
agree with what you say. I think it could be quicker. But again, depending on who we play, we might play Jesus. I don't know what we're going to do really. I
That will
think
be
if I
interesting to see who
I
Arteta
think
pairs
would
with up front.
probably go with Gyökeres. I think as
Mhm,
well, when you've paid a lot of money for someone, you don't want them to just be on the bench, really. So, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah, regarding the lineup, I do think that that is probably a really good lineup you could go for going into this game.
mhm. No, definitely. I think that's probably the best that you could go with. Obviously, bringing back Declan Rice into the fold. Gabriel, bringing him back into the fold as well. It's probably the best you can go with. Before I give my thoughts, I'm also just out of genuine curiosity. What do you make of the whole Kobe situation?
It is a bit messy, isn't it? Really, because I think he is quite a good player. To be fair, I do enjoy watching him, but again, he is young as well, isn't he? So I don't know if he gets the right sort of playing time as well. It's a really difficult because I don't think Amrin really gave him the right sort of support. And you mentioned about Amrin being a little bit stubborn. I think that's where it comes down to as
Hmm.
well. So I definitely think it's a good player in him, but again, it's difficult. It reminds me kind of a tiny bit about Waneri because it's like you want to play you got players that you've got to please them, you've got to play them, and it's like you've got to give everyone the right sort of amount of game time. I do think though when you're more of an experienced player, managers do tend to play you a lot more. Because I remember when Smith Rowe was coming into the Arsenal team, we didn't ever play him, and then when we played him,
Hmm.
it worked out, which was not a
Hmm.
surprise. So I just feel like if I was United manager, I would definitely play him. I don't see what the issue is,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's a bit of a messy one, really, isn't it?
No, it's as interesting as you were saying. It's funny because uh, the manager who shall not be named, with Casemiro, he tried to phase Casemiro out the team. He tried to get rid of him in January, but then again, just Casemiro just being Casemiro just forced his way back into the team. Just literally showing how integral he is. I mean, some games, just proving off a performance, and then other matches, just sitting back and just watching Manuel Ugarte midfield. And then Ruben Amorim just even he figured out that I think playing Casemiro is probably better than playing Ugarte. And then I remember in one press conference, he's saying, "Oh, I figured out how to I figured out how to use Casemiro. I've learned, I figured it out." Which yeah, if you can't figure out that Casemiro is a player with quality, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to you. But with me, for me, like it felt like I was the one getting disrespected by Ruben Amorim with the whole Kobe situation because this is a player that I've even since the youth levels I absolutely adore Kobe Mainu. He's someone that for me is someone that needs to be one of the cornerstones and the future faces of this football club. And the way Ruben Amorim was disrespecting him, and and Kobe Mainu was on the verge of leaving this football club. But for me, it was worse to see, you know, a lot of the Man United fan base turn their back on Kobe Mainu in support of Ruben Amorim. And I thought to myself, what has Ruben Amorim done that gives him more, credit in the bank at this football club than a player, a Carrington graduate, firstly. scored the winner in the FA Cup final for us, has started for us in Euro knockout matches, including the final. What about the performance against Liverpool? The goal he scored against Wolves. Like there are may not be great, but he's got way more credit in the bank than the manager who brought us to 15th. And the way they, a lot of the fans sided with the manager for just out of stubbornness, just being, we have to break the cycle of managers. Like that was for me. I gotta be blatant here. He was insane to me. But I'm that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm glad this manager is gone is to see Kobe play, and seeing that performance against Man City. I don't need to, say too much. I maybe or maybe not shed a tear watching that performance, because that was a master stroke from Kobe Mainoo, and he looks set to save the club. So I couldn't be happier for him. He deserves it for everything he's had to go through, and the media, of course, turning their back on him, saying he's got attitude problems. But I've seen this. We've seen this so many times before. He's got attitude problems when he's probably been the most professional in this whole situation. So I'm buzzing for Kobe, honestly.
Yeah, I'm completely with you here. And again, there's this comment, so true. You forget how young he is. He's a very good player, and I do think with managers, for some reason, I think they do prefer to have experienced players. Whether that's in midfield, whatever position. I just think you don't really see the younger players get more of a chance than they do. Like, I'm with you. I'd rather, if I was a United fan, or if I put myself in your shoes, I'd rather you give him a chance, it doesn't work out, and you can say as a fan, you know what, fair play, Amarin did play him, he gave him a chance today, but it's again not giving him that opportunity. And I think it happens a lot. I mean, even with Ranieri, bit of a different one, but he's had a bit more time. But again, I think managers just don't maybe feel comfortable taking risks. But as fans, we want them to do that. We want them to take those risks. So yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying.
No, definitely. I mean, what's the man? I mean, there's three. There's three terms that's a Man United core philosophy. Three things: youth, courage or risk, and success. I mean, I couldn't think of any manager who's anti all three of those things than Ruben Amorim. And I know success in since post Ferguson. Yeah, I know, like, it's not the greatest, but with context, right? Every manager, apart from Ruben Amorim, has achieved that success, and even the other two, parts of Armando, more than Ruben Amorim has. Like, he's the complete opposite. Like, he was astonishing to me. All for the system. We can't sacrifice the system. Just trust Amorim. It was crazy to me. And manager that, for me, when you see a manager come in and and Kobe Mano somehow doesn't fit into your system, like, there's certain players like that where if you're making it clear that Kobe's Kobe won't work for my system, leave the football club. Like, players like that don't come around very often. I mean, Kobe, as that one comment said, he's the kid's 20 years old. People forget about his age because he's just that talented, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I do hope now you've got a temporary manager, and hopefully someone permanent, that you will see him flourish and be the player that he deserves to be.
Carrick believes in him, so
yeah, that's nice to see, isn't it? Yeah, I think for United, I think as well, going to this game, it'll be kind of a breath of fresh air having him at the club, and not as a permanent. We don't know in football what happens, but I'm really excited as well for the game. I did want to ask you, obviously, before we round the show up, have you got any score predictions for the game at the weekend? Because I'm not gonna lie, I just do not know what to expect. Like, I could see a draw happening. I could see Arsenal nicking it.
No, me too.
I just don't know what to predict. It's so tough.
I mean, our record at the Emirates, especially in recent years, it's atrocious. If I'm honest, the FA Cup match last season, it was very funny. It was very, very, very funny. I'm at least for me. I'm probably not for you. But even in that the match under Amorim, when we went there, we lost. You don't like going to the Emirates, but then again, I mean, just when it's Inter and Man United with the new manager bounce, you just never know. You just never know. And I think if Carrick sets up in a similar way to just, in that mid block, nullifying Arsenal set pieces, I think we could get something from this match. I don't have a score prediction as of right now, but I mean, for the comments that want one, and I don't normally, especially under the last manager, I'm not normally confident on anything, but I'm gonna put some faith and confidence into the lads here. I'll go with the 2-2. I'll go with the 2-2. I think we'll take points off also. If we lose, I won't be surprised though, and
Yeah.
I would be surprised if it's the other way around if we win. Hopefully we win though, as much as
Yeah, it's just such a weird time to know how to predict it, because I think if you'd have lost against Man City, I'd have probably felt more confident.
Yeah.
Someone says 2-1 United. I don't blame you for that, because yeah, your record isn't great, but for us, again, I think we are struggling to finish off games and be ruthless. But right now I do think 1-1. I just think after our performance against Nottingham Forest, I just don't feel confident. I think again defensively, as we've spoken, we are great and we're not, we're quite good, but I'm just not. I just don't feel confident right now. It's again difficult because we have had a lot of games, so I do think players are probably not 100%. We have rested a lot of players again, so we should be up for this game. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. I'm really excited for the game as well. We'll also be doing a match review as well. I'll be interested to see how that will go, how we'll be feeling then. But it's been so lovely to chat with you today. Obviously, thank you to everyone in the chat that has left any comments. I will obviously try to add your YouTube channel again after the stream ends. But do you want to just tell people quickly where they can find you before we end the show?
No, absolutely. You can find my channel on YouTube, Premier League Primetime, and on Instagram as well, at PL Primetime. So yeah, go follow us. Go have a look. Myself and my entire panel. Shout out to my co-host series, who's an also fan as well, Jose, Andre, and Emma, and the rest of us over there. We do a very good bunch. We've got some great things going for us at Prime Time. But yeah, people, go over, find us over there, check us out. Yeah, we'll see what happens in this game.
Yeah, I'm excited for the game. It's gonna hopefully it'll be. I hope it's not a boring game, like a boring 0-0. But I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't want to be put to sleep, but
yeah, I'd rather it be like a 3-3.
Football will put me to sleep.
Yeah, we need some exciting football. But yeah, I will put your channel in the title, so please do check that out. And thank you to everyone that has joined us today. It's gone so quick and been lovely to chat with you. Make sure you guys are liking the show and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video.